As I sit here surrounded by the memories of a life well lived, I'm reminded of the woman who was the cornerstone of our family, Grandma Aurora. To me, she was always an open book, her blue eyes sparkling like a summer sky, radiating warmth and wisdom. Her hugs could heal any pain, and her laughter was contagious, filling the room with an infectious joy. I thought I knew her inside and out, but life has a way of surprising you. The day she passed away, our family was engulfed in a sorrow so deep it felt like the ground had given way beneath us. In the midst of sorting through her belongings, I stumbled upon something that would change everything. It was an old wooden box, tucked away in a corner of her attic, its surface worn and dusty. I opened it, expecting to find perhaps some old letters or forgotten trinkets. Instead, my fingers brushed against a worn leather diary, its pages yellowed with age. As I carefully opened the diary, a mix of emotions swirled inside me: curiosity, confusion, and a hint of trepidation. Who would have thought that Grandma Aurora, of all people, kept a secret diary? The realization hit me like a tidal wave. I didn't know her as well as I thought. The entries began with a simple note, scribbled in a handwriting I didn't recognize, detailing a life I was never aware of. A life marked by love, loss, and what seemed to be a desperate quest for survival amidst the turmoil of history. As I delved deeper into the pages, I discovered a narrative woven with threads of forbidden love, sacrifice, and a lost treasure that spanned generations. It was both exhilarating and heartbreaking, a testament to the enduring power of love and the lengths to which one woman would go to protect her family. I'm sharing this story with you today because I believe that the secrets Grandma Aurora kept hidden for so long deserve to be told. Over the coming hours, I'll take you on a journey through her eyes, a journey of self-discovery, of love that defied conventions, and of a legacy that was hidden in plain sight. The story you're about to hear is not just about Grandma Aurora. It's about the unseen threads that bind us all, the choices we make, and the love that drives us to extraordinary acts. So let's begin this journey together, with an open heart and a willingness to uncover the secrets of a life that was lived, loved, and hidden in plain sight. In the late 1930s, nestled in the heart of America, lay the small town of Willow Creek, a place where time seemed to stand still, where the air was sweet with the scent of blooming wildflowers, and the sky was a brilliant blue that seemed to stretch on forever. It was a community where everyone knew each other's names, and life moved at the gentle pace of the seasons. The town was surrounded by rolling hills and vast fields of golden wheat that swayed gently in the breeze. A dirt road ran through its center, lined with oak trees that provided shade for the sidewalks. The houses were simple, yet charming, with porches where families gathered in the evenings to watch the stars twinkle to life. In this idyllic setting, a young Aurora grew up, her spirit as free as the birds that sang in the trees. She was a dreamer with eyes that sparkled like the stars on a clear night and a heart full of wonder. Aurora loved to read, getting lost in the pages of old books that she found in the dusty corners of the local library. Her imagination ran wild with stories of far-off lands, brave heroes and heroines who defied convention. At home, Aurora was part of a close-knit family that lived on a modest farm just outside Willow Creek. Her parents, John and Elizabeth, were hardworking and kind, their hands worn from the soil but always ready to offer a warm smile or a comforting hug. Thomas, her older brother, was a young man with a passion for flying, spending hours poring over books on aviation and dreaming of the day he could soar through the skies. Then there was Lily, her little sister, who saw the world through the eyes of a poet, finding beauty in the simplest things: a dewdrop on a spider's web, the color of the sunset, or the sound of raindrops on the roof. The family's days were dictated by nature. Early mornings in the fields, school in the afternoons, and starry nights that seemed to belong just to them. Despite the simplicity of their lives, there was a deep contentment that filled their hearts, a sense of joy in the everyday moments they shared together. Yet amidst this peaceful backdrop, there was a subtle restlessness in Aurora, a sense that there was more to life than the familiar rhythms of Willow Creek. It was a feeling she couldn't quite articulate, a yearning for something beyond the horizon, something that called to her in whispers on windy nights. This quiet discontent was a spark within her, a spark that would one day ignite into a flame that would guide her on a journey of self-discovery, love, and sacrifice. As the seasons passed, Aurora's days continued to blend into a kaleidoscope of simple pleasures, helping her mother in the garden, reading under the shade of an old oak tree, and laughing with her siblings as they explored the wonders of the world around them. But deep within her, the embers of a future yet to be written were beginning to glow, a testament to the enduring power of love and the human spirit. As the summer of 1939 waned, the tranquil life in Willow Creek began to fray at the edges. News of the war in Europe, once a distant murmur, grew louder, seeping into the daily routines of the townspeople. Thomas, Aurora's older brother, would often gather around the radio with the other men, their faces aglow with excitement and a hint of envy, as they listened to tales of adventure and heroism. But for Aurora's parents, the war brought only worry, their faces creasing with concern as they contemplated the future of their family and their farm. Aurora, too, felt the weight of the changing world. She began to question the peaceful existence she had always known, her romantic dreams now tinged with a sense of unease. As she walked through the fields, the wind rustling her hair, she couldn't shake the feeling that the world was on the brink of chaos. Her diary became a refuge, a place where she could pour out her thoughts and fears. It was on one of these walks, lost in thought, that Aurora first saw him, a young man in a military uniform, his eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for something or someone. There was something about him that seemed out of place in Willow Creek, a sense of mystery that drew Aurora, Indiana. As their eyes met, a spark of curiosity flared to life within her. The young man, Elias, seemed to appear at a time when the town was least expecting it. He was not like the other boys in Willow Creek, with their rustic smiles and easy laughter. There was a hardness to him, a sense of secrets kept and burdens carried. Yet, as he approached Aurora, his eyes crinkled at the corners, and his smile hinted at a warmth that seemed almost forbidden. As they began to talk, Aurora felt the world around her melt away, leaving only the two of them, suspended in a sea of uncertainty. But Elias was not like the other boys, and Aurora sensed that he carried a weight that could not be shared. His eyes would cloud over, and his voice would drop to a whisper, as if he feared being overheard. And yet, despite the danger that seemed to follow him, Aurora found herself drawn to him, her heart beating faster with every passing moment. Little did she know, Elias's arrival in Willow Creek was not a coincidence. He had a mission, one that would entwine their lives in ways neither of them could have imagined. As the shadows of war deepened, Aurora and Elias found themselves on a path that would lead them into the heart of danger and the depths of forbidden love. As the days turned into weeks, Aurora and Elias's secret meetings became more frequent, their love blossoming like a sunflower in the shadows. They'd steal glances at each other during church services, exchange whispered words in the dead of night, and meet in hidden spots, their hearts racing with every touch. The barn, with its rustic scent and soft hay, became their sanctuary, a place where they could escape the war's harsh realities. The sunflower field, with its bright yellow petals and gentle hum of bees, was another haven, where they'd sit together, watching the sunset, and dream of a future. Elias's eyes, once haunted by the weight of his secrets, now sparkled with a sense of hope, a sense of belonging. Aurora's presence had awakened something within him, something he'd thought was lost forever. As they sat together, hands entwined, he'd tell her stories of his life before the war, of his dreams and aspirations. Aurora listened, entranced, her heart overflowing with compassion and understanding. But Elias's past was not without its dangers. One evening, as they sat together in the barn, he revealed the truth about his identity, about being a German scientist who deserted his post. The artifact, he explained, was an encryption device, one that could change the course of the war. He'd been sent to find it, to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Aurora's eyes widened, her mind reeling with the implications. As Elias spoke, his voice low and urgent, Aurora felt her world expanding, contracting and expanding again. She was torn between her love for Elias, her desire to help him, and the danger that came with it. The Nazi agents, disguised as civilians, had begun to appear in Willow Creek, their eyes scanning the streets, searching for Elias, for the artifact. The air was thick with tension, the once peaceful town now a hotbed of paranoia and fear. It was then that Elias revealed the artifact's location, a secret, ancient labyrinth beneath the town's old church. His mentor, a clockmaker, had hidden it there, leaving behind a cryptic map. Aurora's heart skipped a beat as Elias's words hung in the air, the weight of their mission settling upon her shoulders. With every step, Aurora felt herself transforming, evolving from a passive observer to an active participant. She was no longer just a young woman in love. She was a partner in a desperate quest. The diary, once a confidant, a keeper of secrets, became a repository of her fears, her hopes, and her determination. As they made their way through the dusty passages under the church, the lantern casting eerie shadows on the walls, Aurora felt her courage growing, her resourcefulness unfolding. She was no longer the same girl who'd watched Elias from afar, her heart aching with longing. She was now a woman strong, determined, and willing to risk everything for love, for survival. The labyrinth, with its ancient symbols and cobwebs, seemed to stretch on forever, a maze of secrets and surprises. Aurora's heart pounded in her chest as they navigated the twists and turns, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. And yet, with every step, she felt a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. She was no longer just a bystander. She was a participant, a partner in Elias's quest. As they reached the heart of the labyrinth, Aurora felt a sense of trepidation, a sense of foreboding. What lay ahead? Would they find the artifact, or would they be caught, torn apart by the very forces that sought to destroy them? The diary, her faithful companion, seemed to whisper words of encouragement, urging her forward, into the unknown. And so, with Elias by her side, Aurora steeled herself for what was to come, her heart pounding with anticipation, her soul burning with determination. As they navigated the narrow, winding passages of the underground labyrinth, the air thick with anticipation, Aurora and Elias finally stumbled upon the secret chamber. The room was small, with stone walls that seemed to close in around them, and a low ceiling that forced them to duck. A single flickering torch cast eerie shadows on the walls, making it seem as though the very spirits of the past were watching their every move. In the center of the room, on a pedestal of rough-hewn stone, lay the artifact, a small, intricately carved box made of a material that seemed almost otherworldly. Aurora's heart skipped a beat as she reached out a trembling hand to touch the box. Elias, his eyes locked on hers, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We did it," he whispered, a hint of triumph in his voice. But their moment of victory was short-lived. The sound of footsteps, heavy and deliberate, echoed through the passages outside the chamber. The Nazi agents had found them. "Aurora, we have to get out of here now," Elias urged, his voice low and urgent. But it was too late. The agents burst into the chamber, guns drawn, their faces twisted with malice. Aurora and Elias were surrounded, with no clear escape route. The air was electric with tension as the agents closed in. Without hesitation, Elias pushed Aurora behind him, his eyes flashing with defiance. "Go, Aurora!" he shouted as he charged at the agents. Aurora didn't need to be told twice. She sprinted down a narrow passage, the sound of gunfire and shouting growing fainter with each step. But she couldn't shake the feeling of chaos and danger that drove her forward. As she ran, the labyrinth seemed to shift and twist around her, like a living thing trying to trap her. She dodged and weaved, her heart pounding in her chest. Finally, she saw a glimmer of light ahead, the exit. With a surge of adrenaline, she burst through the doorway, gasping in the fresh air. But as she looked back, she saw Elias cornered by the agents. He was wounded, his eyes filled with a deep sadness. "Aurora, go!" he shouted, his voice carrying across the distance. "Take the artifact. Change the course of the war. I'm proud of you." With those final words, Elias made a desperate lunge at the agents, buying Aurora just enough time to escape. As she disappeared into the trees, she heard the sound of gunfire, and then silence. Elias was gone. Aurora stumbled through the forest, the artifact clutched in her hand. Tears streamed down her face as she mourned the loss of the man she loved. But even in her grief, she felt a sense of determination rising within her. She would carry on Elias's legacy, using the artifact to change the course of the war. The diary she had kept became a testament to their love, a reminder of the sacrifice Elias had made for her, and for their future. As she walked, the trees seemed to close in around her, casting long shadows on the ground. The sky above was a deep, foreboding gray, like the weight of her sorrow. But Aurora pressed on, driven by a newfound sense of purpose. She would honor Elias's memory, no matter the cost. The artifact, now a symbol of their love and sacrifice, seemed to burn with an inner fire, illuminating the path ahead. And with that, Aurora vanished into the trees, ready to face whatever lay ahead. As I emerged from the labyrinth, the darkness seemed to swallow me whole. The rain-soaked night air clung to my skin like a damp shroud, mirroring the despair that threatened to consume me. Elias's sacrifice still lingered in my mind, a raw wound that refused to scab over. I stumbled through the forest, my heart heavy with grief, the artifact clutched tightly in my hand. It was as if it had become a part of me, a tangible connection to the love and loss I had just endured. The walk home was a blur. I recall the sound of raindrops hitting the pavement, the faint glow of lanterns in the distance, but it's all hazy, overshadowed by the anguish that gripped my heart. I couldn't cry out, couldn't let the world see my pain. I had to keep it locked away, hidden behind a mask of composure. When I finally stepped into my home, the warmth and light seemed like a cruel contrast to the chill within me. My family, oblivious to the storm that had raged within me, welcomed me with open arms, concern etched on their faces. "Aurora, what's wrong?" they asked, but I couldn't find the words. How could I explain the depth of my loss? The weight of the secret I now carried? The days that followed were a haze of pretending, of going through the motions. I attended meals, participated in conversations, but my mind wandered, stuck on Elias, on what we'd shared, on what he'd given up for me. The diary became my sole confidant, the one place where I could express the unbearable grief and the overwhelming sense of responsibility that now rested on my shoulders. My parents and siblings noticed the change in me, the distant look in my eyes, but they couldn't fathom its depth. They attributed my withdrawal to the shock of Elias's accidental death. But I knew the truth. I was carrying a burden they couldn't begin to understand. In the quiet moments when the house was asleep, I'd steal away to my room, candlelight flickering, and pore over Elias's notes and the artifact. The diary entries spoke of his dreams, of a world where love and knowledge could triumph over tyranny. I felt a nascent resolve forming within me, a determination to honor his memory, to fulfill the mission he'd entrusted to me. I began to research, seeking out books in the local library that might help me decipher the mysteries of the artifact. The librarian, a kind-eyed woman with a warm smile, noticed my focus, my intensity. She'd nod sympathetically, as if understanding the depth of my sorrow, though she couldn't know the half of it. In those moments, surrounded by dusty tomes and flickering light, I felt Elias's presence, a gentle nudge urging me forward. The artifact, once a symbol of loss, began to transform into a beacon of hope, a reminder that our love, though tested by the cruel hand of fate, could still change the course of history. As Aurora stepped off the train and into the bustling city, the cacophony of sounds and the sea of faces enveloped her, offering a sense of anonymity she desperately sought. The modest boarding house she found, with its narrow staircases and shared kitchen, became her haven, a place to rest her weary head after days of traversing the countryside. Yet, it was in the city's libraries and archives that she found her true sanctuary. Surrounded by dusty tomes and forgotten documents, Aurora pored over the pages, her eyes scanning for any mention of the artifact or its capabilities. Elias's diary, now her most treasured possession, served as her guide, pointing her towards experts and resources that might aid in her quest. She met with cryptographers and engineers, posing as a curious historian, gathering scraps of information that slowly began to form a picture of the artifact's true power. It was more than a simple encryption device. It was a key to deciphering enemy codes, predicting strategic movements, and potentially turning the tide of the war. As the days turned into weeks, Aurora's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. She developed a keen eye for observation, able to notice the smallest details in the people around her, from the way a man adjusted his tie to the subtle nervousness in a woman's fingers. She learned the art of discretion, able to blend into the background, becoming almost invisible in a crowd. Her skills and counterintelligence grew, as she practiced subtly evading surveillance, always staying one step ahead of potential pursuers. One afternoon, while sitting in a quaint cafe, Aurora noticed a man lingering by the door, his eyes scanning the room with an intensity that made her skin prickle. She recognized the posture, the way he seemed to be waiting for someone or something. With a calmness that belied her racing heart, Aurora gathered her belongings and slipped out the back door, melting into the crowd. It was a narrow escape, but one that reinforced her growing confidence in her abilities. Despite her solitude, Despite the weight of her secret life, Aurora's determination never wavered. Elias's memory, the promise she made to him, and the importance of her mission drove her forward, even on the darkest of days. The Nazi threat was ever present, agents actively searching for the artifact, and Aurora knew she had to remain vigilant. She felt their presence like a shadow on the edge of her perception, always. In the silence of her apartment, surrounded by the artifact's components, Aurora felt a sense of purpose wash over her. She was no longer just a grieving young woman. She was a guardian of a secret, a keeper of a legacy that could change the course of history. And with that realization, she knew she would continue, no matter the cost, driven by the love she had for Elias and the hope for a better future. As the war finally drew to a close, Aurora felt a sense of relief wash over her, like the gentle lapping of waves on a still pond. She had done it. She had played her part in turning the tide of history. The artifact, once a burden, had become a tool for good, and she had used it to transmit crucial intelligence to the Allied forces. She remembered the countless nights spent in secret offices, typing away on the encrypted messages, her heart racing with every click of the machine. The enemy's plans had been frustrated, and strategic victories had been won, all thanks to her bravery and determination. The quiet satisfaction of having fulfilled her mission settled in her heart, like a warm ember. She had done something meaningful, something that would be remembered for generations to come. As she looked back on those tumultuous years, she knew that she had made a difference. The war had changed her, but it had also given her a sense of purpose. With the war behind her, Aurora sought a new beginning. She returned to Willow Creek, the small town where her journey had first begun. The rolling hills and green pastures seemed to welcome her back, like an old friend. She dedicated herself to community building, using her experiences to help others. She worked with war-affected families, offering a listening ear and a helping hand. Her past was a part of her, but it no longer defined her present struggles. The artifact, once a symbol of danger and uncertainty, was now a cherished reminder of Elias and the love they had shared. She carefully stored it in a beautiful music box, adorned with intricate patterns and a soft golden glow. The music box became a treasured keepsake, a symbol of peace and remembrance. As the years passed, Aurora evolved into the wise, loving grandmother the narrator knew. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom, and her smile could light up a room. She embodied serenity, a sense of peace that came from living a life of purpose. Her past was a part of her, but it no longer held her back. She had transcended it, and in doing so had become a beacon of hope for those around her. The narrator, looking back, understood that Aurora's seemingly simple life had been built upon extraordinary experiences and profound sacrifices. The diary, now a treasured family heirloom, revealed the depth of her character. It showed a woman who had lived, loved and lost, but had never given up. As the narrator closed the diary, she felt a sense of awe and reverence for the woman who had been her grandmother. She knew that she would carry Aurora's legacy with her, always. As I sit here surrounded by the memories of a life well lived, I find myself reflecting on the diary's significance. It's not just a historical record, but a map to my grandmother Aurora's soul. Reading her words, I feel like I'm unraveling the threads of a tapestry, each strand woven with love, sacrifice, and resilience. My perception of her has changed. She's no longer just the wise, kind grandmother I thought I knew. She's a complex, multifaceted woman who lived an extraordinary life. I recall the stories she used to tell me as a child, tales of fairies and heroes, of magic and bravery. I realize now that those stories were metaphors for her own heroic journey. The fairies were the people who helped her along the way. The heroes were the ones who inspired her to keep going. And the magic was the love and strength she found within herself. Her childhood stories, once mere fantasies, have become a testament to her courage and determination. Aurora's legacy is not just the artifact, nor is it just her secrets. It's the silent strength she embodied, the wisdom she shared through her stories, and the unconditional love she showed to everyone around her. Her life was a masterpiece of complexity and beauty, full of triumphs and struggles, of joy and sorrow. As I reflect on her journey, I see parallels between her experiences and my own. The struggles she faced, the triumphs she achieved, they all resonate deeply within me. Reading her diary has been a journey of self-discovery, a path to understanding the complexities of life, and the courage it takes to navigate them. I've found peace and a deeper understanding of life through her story. The diary has become a personal treasure, a guide that reminds me of the power of love, sacrifice, and resilience. Aurora's story has shown me that our experiences, though unique, are interconnected. We've all been on a journey of discovery, navigating the twists and turns of life. As I close this chapter, I'm reminded of the universal message that Aurora's story conveys. It's a message about discovering our own hidden stories, about sharing them, and about the transformative power of love and legacy. Her diary has inspired me to reflect on my own life, to uncover the stories that have shaped me, and to share them with others. In doing so, I hope to carry on her legacy, to keep her memory alive, and to inspire others to do the same. As we close the chapter on Grandma Aurora's hidden diary, we're reminded that life is a tapestry woven with threads of love, sacrifice, and resilience. Her story, a testament to the human spirit, shows us that even in the darkest times, courage and determination can lead to extraordinary acts of heroism and devotion. Through her journey, we've witnessed the power of hidden legacies, passed down through generations, inspiring us to reflect on our own lives and the stories we hold dear. If Grandma Aurora's story has resonated with you, then its purpose has been fulfilled. This tale continues not just in the pages of her diary, but in the experiences we share, the wisdom we pass on, and the love we give. As you carry her legacy forward, remember that every life has a story worth telling, every heart has a depth worth exploring, and every act of kindness can change the world. Now, as we say goodbye to Grandma Aurora's world, I'd like to invite you to be a part of ours. Please take a moment to share your thoughts, leave a like, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire and uplift. Share this story with someone you love, and let's keep the conversation going. What secret do you think Grandma Aurora held dearest to her heart? Your comments and reflections are a gift to us, and we look forward to hearing them. As the music fades and the curtains close, remember that the true power of Grandma Aurora's story lies not in its conclusion, but in the connections it forges and the hearts it touches. Thank you for joining us on this journey. May Grandma Aurora's legacy inspire you to live, love, and share your own extraordinary story.